So I want you to think about 8 culture levers, and I call them culture levers because these are the things that managers can so to speak, push and pull in order to affect, in order to create, in order to put in motion the culture change needed for an effective lean implementation. And there are 8 culture levers. Why are there 8 and not 5? Why are there 8 instead of 10? These are 8 things that, in my work and in my research and in my reading, I've come to see that these are things that all organizations do. They might not do them well, okay, but there's no such thing as an organization with no communications. There's no such thing as an organization that has no approach to motivation. Again, that's not saying that all organizations do it well. They might have bad communications and crummy approaches to motivation and low levels and badly done teamwork and collaboration, but there's no such thing as none of these. So these are 8 factors. These are 8 characteristics. These are 8 attributes. These are 8 functions. These are 8 elements of culture that all organizations have to one extent or another. And then what we see over here, kind of on the right side of the screen, is traditional versus lean. Traditional versus lean. In traditional manufacturing, communications are tight. It's hard to find out what I need to know. It's hard to get information to the people I need to. In lean, it's more free-flowing. Motivation in traditional, it's more extrinsic. What I mean by that is kind of if we give them a reward, they'll do what we want them to. If we give them a punishment, they'll quit doing what they don't want to. Rather than seeing folks want to be engaged. Folks want to take part in problem solving and decision making. Folks are interested in their work and they're interested in making their work better. Teamwork and collaboration from an individual to more of a teamwork. In other words, and what that means is putting teams together at all levels to solve problems, make decisions, make improvements to processes. Teaching and learning, school of hard knocks to investment. School of hard knocks is, we've all seen it in organizations that we've worked with and worked for. And that is, okay, welcome to your new job. There's the bathroom, there's the water fountain. God bless you and good luck. Do the best you can. As compared with when we hire you, we orient you and we train you to the job. When you get a new position, we train you and we coach you and help you. When you're given new responsibilities and new functions, you are given coaching and training. Okay? So any change that happens to you individually or within the organization, we invest in, that's where that word investment comes from. We invest in communications, education, learning opportunities so that you can move up the learning curve more quickly. In organizations where they invest in education and training, their employees move up the learning curve more quickly than their competitors do. They have a strategic advantage. Problem solving, low involvement versus high involvement. I bet that's self-explanatory. Decision making, top down versus bottom up. Innovation, tried and true. We've always done it this way. Or we'll take your idea under advisement once we figure out how much it costs to. Let's try it. New idea, new way of looking at things, new change to the process. Let's try it out and see what results we get. And then managing agreement, going from a win-lose, I'm right, you're wrong. My job is to win this argument and overcome you to a win-win. We have recognizing we'll often have disagreements based on different data, different experiences, different observations, different background. But we're all committed to keeping the conversation going until we come to consensus. Okay? There's nobody in here who's got in mind, I got to win this argument so that it makes me look good. Everybody's got in mind, if we keep talking, we keep debating, we'll bring enough information, enough data, enough of our various experiences to the table so that we come up with a solution, so that we come up with a decision that maybe we didn't even think about when we started the discussion. Okay. So 8 culture levers, moving from traditional to lean in all of these ways. How do you make that happen? You use this blueprint. Okay. And firstly is develop a vision of success. I'm going to go through all of these in a little bit of detail. First, leadership has to develop a vision of success and create a sense of urgency around that. And by sense of urgency, I don't mean a sense of emergency. It's not that we have to get across to folks that we're dying, the sky is falling, the world is crumbling, and we have to do this or we will go out of business, unless that is the case. If that's actually the case, that'd be a good way of creating sense of urgency. Sense of urgency is often created by leaders who say there are wonderful, great, expansive opportunities out there that we can take advantage of by building these sorts of capabilities. So a sense of urgency around the positive, around the possible, around potentials is just as inappropriate a message. Establish a guiding coalition, communicate cubed, and that's what the little 3 is for. Communicate, 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 communicate cubed, over communicate. Action plan with lots of action that involves lots of people, aligning systems to support the gains, and then monitor, assess, and replan. So let me go kind of through each one to just explain a little bit what I mean by each bullet point. First, like I said, is developing that vision of success. You need to get leadership talking about and discussing and thinking through, and I'm doing this with a client right now, and we're doing it all virtually. The first thing I'm doing is asking them, what are your goals? What, as a result of this initiative, as a result of having me on board, and your own work and your own attention and your own energy, what do you want to see a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now that you don't see now? Get a clear picture of the culture you have and the culture you want. And the culture levers, the 8 culture levers, provide a good template for that discussion. To get leaders talking about, okay, what's communications look like now? What do we want to look at? How do we want it to look? What does decision making look like now? How do we want it to look? How do we motivate folks now? How do we want motivation for high performance to look? So clear picture of what you got, clear picture of what you want, using the culture levers as kind of the template for your discussion. Making sure that the culture you want is tied to both the success of the lead enterprise implementation and, most importantly, to the strategy of the company. So when we get those things we say we want operationally and in the culture, how's that going to link with? How's that going to integrate with our business strategy? How will this improved culture help and support our business strategy? Because again, you're going to need to be able to articulate why you're doing all of this. And the why is, here's our strategy, here's how the lean implementation and the culture change supports it. And then not lastly, but another thing is you're going to need to make sure that vision of the culture you want is part of an ongoing conversation. And